Justin Ruby here for Nintendo World Report. I just got some hands-on time with the NES Classic Edition, and as someone whose first Nintendo console was the NES, I was excited to get my hands on the final product. The unit itself is very small. I mean, this thing is probably small enough to fit in my pocket. It's really that tiny. The controller is normal size compared to the original NES, but the cord that plugs into the unit is somewhat short. I couldn't get any confirmation on how long the included HDMI cable will be, so users may need to invest in a longer cable in order for it to work in their gaming area. This might be one of the few flaws in the product. The controller itself feels very similar to the original NES controller, but the D-pad may be a bit softer. Most people probably won't notice it, and some people would probably prefer that, to be honest. For me personally, I think I miss the harder feel, especially when you rock the D-pad from left to right, but I'm probably a crazy purist who has built up an immunity to the classic case of Nintendo thumb. Once the system is on, the menu looks nice. I love seeing all the classic box arts on display, and it really reminds me of when I used to be able to go to Blockbuster Video and see every game on display and that you can go rent. But now you can just boot them up whenever you want on this device, which is great. Starting a game is real simple and works as you'd imagine. You just click on it and the game boots up. From there, if the user wants to take advantage of the built-in save state feature, or change the game, or anything like that, they just have to press the reset button on the console itself, and then they're able to save a game in one of 4 slots for each game, or load up a previous save state, change games, or even change the display settings, which is a unique feature of this device, something that wasn't featured on the Virtual Console services ever. So the games on the NES Classic Edition can be displayed in with three different settings. The options are 4:3, pixel perfect, and the third option is the CRT filter. I thought the 4:3 and pixel perfect modes looked great, but the CRT filter really made the games look a lot blurrier than I think they looked on a traditional CRT display. This issue may have been made worse because I tried it out on a fairly large TV, so results may vary on that filter. I'd like to see how it looks on a smaller screen, to be honest with you, so I'd have a better idea of how that would work. The games that I got to try ran great during my hands-on time, except there was some noticeable input lag. This may have been an issue since we weren't sure if the TV we were playing on was set to game mode, or maybe because we were using a capture device to get some direct feed footage, or the combination of the two things could have played a role in this. So I'm really hoping this isn't the case when I get to test it out on a setup I know is reliable for gaming. So I'm thinking it's not going to be an issue, but just throwing it out there, I am very sensitive to this input lag when playing these old games, so it was very noticeable to me, but I'm sure other people may not have noticed it at all. And even though there were some flaws, I'm still excited for the NES Classic Edition overall. I'm a huge NES fan, and I can't wait to try it out on my setup and get things going. It'll probably be the best way to play these classic 30 games on an HD TV. It'll also be great for younger players who just want to get a taste of some classic games for a fair price without having to hunt down the original hardware and software, which seems to keep going up in price ridiculously. The NES Classic Edition just seems like a home run of a product when I think about it, because I really don't know who will enjoy it more, kids or the adults who grew up playing these games on the original hardware.